Alright, folks. So, this will be the start of section 2. As you can see here, I've entirely changed the picture of it. It's got flames around it, so that only means that it's gonna be more serious from here on. Section 2 is a whole new set of story. It's gonna be much worse than section 1. And the same disclaimer applies, but with it'll be this with steroids. It'll be same disclaimer, but it's gonna be even more. So be prepared. Anyways, so in this video, I'll I'll speak about the prologue, and then the chapter 1, which is Unfaced Challenges and Strenuous March. So the chapter's name itself tells of a really Stone is a lot different from the chapters of section 1. So which means you guys need to be prepared. So anyways, let's get on with it. Prologue. Lord Pericles took a deep breath as Ephraim sat on a chair, facing him. Hey Ephraim, what do you need? Lord Pericles, I would like to have Apasios officially join the Siphonator group, Ephraim said. Lord Pericles rubbed on the table and smiled. Yeah, but Commander Kairos wants him to be the diplomat's apprentice. Ephraim shook his head. I believe that he's better suited as Siphonator, helping us out directly. Lord Pericles grimaced. And I believe that Chiv already used a sentence on me last time when I wanted Lucio to be the diplomat's apprentice. Ephraim flinched. He had forgotten about such an incident which happened a long time ago. Upon seeing Ephraim's confused look, Lord Pericles smirked. Ephraim, the diplomats have been asking me for Apasios ever since he came to the fortress. If you don't want to give up Apasios, then give up on Lucio, because the diplomats are in dire need of some help. It's because not many people have much excellence in speaking multiple languages just like Apasios and Lucio. Ephraim sighed. I still can't accept that. You put him in me and Thomas' group, then you want to take him out again? It's not acceptable. Lord Pericles looked straight at Ephraim. You're forgetting something, Ephraim. I'm the Lord here. He stumped on the floor once, to which Ephraim flinched again. But I'll be merciful to you and give you 3 months to decide. You need to give up on one person. I don't care who. Ephraim grimaced. Yes, Lord. Okay then, our talk is done for now. Go on your way, Lord Pericles said. Ephraim walked out of the headquarters building and took some time clearing his mind. After that, he went back to the place where he was teaching Apasios. Now, Apasios, fire it. The flame erupted out of the siphon as Apasios pressed on the pump. It was one of the special training days for the soldiers, in which they got into their respective groups to get various lessons that they haven't been able to take on the regular days. Apasios paused for a while when the flame started burning a small stack of scrap wood. Is that what they call the sea fire? Apasios said. Upon hearing Apasios' question, Ephraim chuckled. No, that's not the sea fire. He smiled when Apasios flinched. You see, there's a reason when people say sea fire when they see one. It's because the sea fire burns on water really well. Also, when it is shot, it'll sound like thunder and look like heaven's spear flying by and will be accompanied by much smoke. He then sighed. Krios knows how to make it, but he needs to buy some of the special ingredients from someone else, so he still doesn't know the full detail of it. And to make it worse, he's bound under an oath to never share anything about the sea fire to anyone. Pasio slowly nodded, then looked at Ephraim. Have you ever seen the sea fire being shot? Ephraim nodded. Towards one evening, when we were staying at Constantinopolis for some reason, I happened to be sauntering around at the shore of the Golden Horn and the soldiers were practicing it. It was amazing. I mean, those fire sparks were everywhere, and the sound and the look of it was so terrifying, and the flame of it wasn't the standard red, orange, and yellow that we're used to. It was something else. It was more like blue, purple, and white. I mean, I told you that it looks like Heaven's Spear, so I really want to see it in action against enemy ships. Ephraim then felt someone coming towards him and looked back. Oh, it's you, Lucio. He then held out his hand. Give me the money. Lucio grunted and reluctantly gave the money back to Ephraim. Apasius pointed at the money bag. What's that for? That's the rightful share of the money that Lucio needs to pay. Currently, we each pay half the cost of the equipment and the siphon liquid we purchase. Ephraim opened the money bag to check the contents, and this was his payment for the last 4 barrels that we bought. Ephraim was about to continue speaking, but he was cut short by Lucio. Officer Ephraim, why is he here? Lucio pointed at Apasius. Ephraim sighed. Isn't it obvious? He is joining us in our group. He didn't pay for his share. Lucio was very persistent. Apasius realized that Lucio was grumpier than usual today. He didn't know why, so he decided to wait and see what Ephraim would say. Ephraim stared at Lucio for a while. Lucio, Apasius paid for his share when he helped us out that day on the ship. Also, think back at your past and remember that you also freeloaded off of this when you first asked me if he could join. Lucio frowned and spit on the ground. After that, he walked away. Therefore, Apasius looked at him in wonder. What's up with him today? Apasius said. Ephraim shook his head. He just thinks that the world should revolve around him at all times. Basically a brat who's full of himself. You should get back to practice. Ephraim then watched on as Apasius shot out flame after flame. Alright, so that was the end of the prologue, and now we're gonna go into the chapter 1. Unfaced Challenges and Strenuous March. Lord Pericles gazed ahead at what looked like a harbor. Wait, hold on. That's not the city's harbor? Commander Proteus nodded. That isn't, but rather a makeshift dock for the villagers living nearby to use. I thought you remembered stopping by here on our last trip. Lord Pericles sighed and nodded. Yes, I remember it now. But how much longer do we have to sail upriver then? Much longer, Commander Proteus chuckled. However, that's not our biggest problem. Because it seems our ships won't be able to sail any longer than that island. He pointed at the island. Lord Pericles looked at Commander Proteus. What do you mean we can't? Commander Proteus sighed. Just think about it, Pericles. That island is standing right in the middle of the river, which means that the depth of that river around it won't be as deep as the parts that we have sailed until now. We've already seen it with another island before that one. Then, other ships sailing in front of us are small enough, but not ours. And our guys are having a hard time rowing in the back as of this moment. Trying to row it against the current is not easy. Furthermore, I don't want to risk the probability of our ships getting stuck. And even if this ship makes it through, I doubt if our cargo ship can. Definitely not during the return journey when that will be full of raided goods, making that sink further down the river. Alright then, let's stop at the dock, Lord Pericles said. Commander Proteus looked at Lord Pericles. Hey, but do you remember saying that this is Goksu River to our soldiers? Lord Pericles stared ahead at the dock. Yeah, what about it? That's wrong. That's the Turks' way of calling it. The locals call it the Kallikatnis River, and our ancestors have also called it that centuries ago. So we shouldn't use our enemies' terms on it. It's just not good, Commander Proteus said. Alright, whatever. And I won't call it that anymore, Lord Pericles shrugged. Anyways, let us start putting on our armor now. Then they went to their rooms to put on their armor. And soon, the ships arrived at the dock, and the soldiers hastily situated their ships, and some of the villagers' boats were pushed over in the process. The dock's dozing watchmen were immediately captured by the soldiers. After that, they gathered at the decks to hear the orders. Okay, guys. It seems there's a big change in our plan. Commander Lapidos looked around at the soldiers. Lord Pericles wants us to raid the villages along the way to Seleucia, fill up the wagons with merchandise, and capture the enemy villagers, as many as possible. The medium melee soldiers nodded or spoke out their agreement. Commander Lefteris walked up. My third squad, and Commander Lapido's third squad, with the engineers, will manage the wagons and transport raided goods along with the captives to the ships. You all need to repeat such process even into Seleucia until Lord Pericles, Commander Proteus, or Commander Lucas tells you guys to not come back. When told not to come back, you'll be on guard duty on the ships. Understood? Yes, Commander, the third squads of medium melee soldiers said. Soon, the medium melee soldiers rushed out of their ship and began their march for the first village in sight. On the cargo ship, Commander Kairos gathered his soldiers. Change of plans, Niles. You need to stay here with your squad to guard the ships while George, me, Claus, and Thomas will be following heavy melee guys straight into Seleucia. We'll march there. Captain Claus raised his hand. Why don't we just sail there? Commander Kairos shook his head. We can't. Our ship is just too big and heavy for it to sail safely past that island. He pointed at the island. Even if we do make it past, the river beyond that won't be as deep as here, which means our ship may get stuck. And that's why we need to march on foot from here. Captain Claus nodded. Any other questions? Commander Kairos said. The soldiers remained silent, so Commander Kairos led selected soldiers out of the ship. Attention! Lord Pericles looked at his soldiers. We'll be marching from here, straight to Seleucia without stopping. Medium melee guys will be raiding the villages, so leave such tasks to them. Because I need you guys to defeat Seleucia's garrison force and clear the way for others. The heavy melee soldiers nodded their heads and muttered out their agreement. Move forward! Keep close to the river so that we get into the city on our newly planned route of the offense. Lord Pericles led the way in front of the heavy melee soldiers and followed them as they followed the support soldiers. Oh no, and behind them followed the support soldiers. Alright, I guess I gotta be stopping soon. Yeah, my tongue is just acting up. Ephraim looked at Seth. Hey, we need to act natural. Make sure that the villagers don't see us as threats, but a group of soldiers marching back to Seleucia. Seth sighed. Okay, I'll try. But it's a long way to Seleucia. Breakfast time is coming up, and it seems we will have to eat while walking. Officer Kai approached. You know, Seth, you'll be able to eat breakfast in the wagon, by squads. We'll all take turns eating there. Seth brightened up. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He suddenly looked back at the wagon and grimaced. What? How did Lucio get to be the driver? Ephraim slowly shook his head and sighed at Officer Kai for mentioning the wagon. Officer Kai looked at Ephraim. Ephraim, what's wrong? Ephraim simply pointed at Seth, who quickly rushed over to Lucio. Hey, Lucio, how in the world did you get to drive the wagon? Seth said. Lucio looked at Seth. Commander Kairos ordered me to drive it. Seth grunted. Yeah, right, you sneaky bastard. Sitting comfortably on that driver's seat while we walk? Shame on you. Lucio scowled. Shut up. He made me do it, and you can't say anything to that. Gosh, for real, I asked him before if I could drive it, but he said no. So you probably kissed up to him like you always do. Seth was enraged, and he looked around to see if anyone was nearby to overhear their argument. Let me drive it right now. I don't feel like walking. Lucio flinched. No, Seth. He made me do it, not anybody else. So just get lost. He breathed heavily in frustration when Seth didn't walk away. You're such a loser, Seth. You always don't feel like walking. You always don't feel like lifting up your share of burdens. You complain too much. But all at the same time, you eat up all our rations every day. Seth's face turned red in severe anger. Damn it, Lucio. You're such a liar. I always work harder than you and put forth more results to the fortress. And you say that? Freaking seriously? And I don't eat up all of our rations. I may eat more than many others, but the things I eat are not desired much by others because they're not snacks. He nodded upon seeing Lucio getting angry. But anyways, I'm angry right now because I've never gotten any chance to drive the fortress wagons and enjoy the scenery around me. So let me drive it for once on this trip. Lucio shook his head. I said no, Seth. Go back to your own place, right now. Seth was shocked since Lucio shouted in such immense hatred and anger. That little guy seemed scarier than a bear. So Seth grudgingly jogged away back to his place. Alright, so I'll leave it right here, and so I'll post next part in the later videos. And thanks for listening.